Stephen Ritchie, a man with a mania for mountain biking. But last year, his beloved bike caused a bizarre and gruesome accident that destroyed half his face. Miraculously, surgeons didn't just put him back together, they made him look even better than before. Stephen was racing down a country lane with some mates.
We'd gone over some rough terrain and then we were on a nice long stretch that was grassy, gravelly.
But as he picked up speed down the slope, his quick-release front wheel suddenly came loose.
And as we were going down, I just heard a click.
As the bike jammed into the ground, Stephen was fired 2 metres into the air like a cruise missile.
I don't remember going over my handlebars, it happened so quickly.
A split second later, 11 stone of stunned cyclist collided face first with the gravel below at a phenomenal 40 miles per hour. His massive momentum drove his face along the floor, ripping the flesh off his eye and chin, layer by agonising layer. Medics call this injury degloving. The skin is literally ground off the bone.
I didn't know how bad it was. I used my tongue to feel my lip to make sure that wasn't split open, and that's when I realised that some of my teeth were missing, and then I realised there was blood running down my face.
I tried not to give Steve any indication how bad it was. I didn't want to upset him any more than he obviously was, but you could tell looking at it, it was a bad injury.
Minutes later, an ambulance arrived to find Stephen in a state of terror and shock, with a giant flap of skin hanging horrifically off his face.
He was obviously looking in pain, pale, shivering, cold. On his forehead he had a very deep laceration where you could actually see the fatty tissue in the laceration, and that was gaping.
With any serious head injury, there's the risk of a fractured skull or even brain damage. So having administered pain relief, paramedics bandaged our mangled mountain biker's head and sped him to A&E.
Yeah, I was scared. I don't like blood, I don't like pain. By then my head had kind of swelled up. I was scaring the little kids that were coming up to me screaming and then running off.
A damaged human face is always a distressing sight, and even as a professional, a face covered in blood and dirt and bits of grass and with lots of cuts on it, it never looks good.
A barrage of X-rays produced reassuring news. Stephen's brain was intact. However, his eye socket had been smashed to pieces, meaning heavy-duty reconstruction was required.